For nearly 3 decades, Hugh Jackman publicly described Deborra-Lee Furness as the greatest blessing in his life. In interviews, award speeches, magazine profiles, and television appearances, he constantly praised her loyalty, intelligence, and strength. Their marriage became one of Hollywood's rare examples of stability in an industry known for short-lived relationships. Audiences admired the way he looked at her on red carpets and the consistency with which he defended their relationship against criticism about their age difference. Over time, people stopped questioning whether their marriage was genuine because Hugh appeared completely devoted. Then, everything changed. After the divorce was finalized in June 2025, reports quickly surfaced, suggesting he was already planning a future with Broadway star Sutton Foster. The speed of those developments shocked fans who had believed the marriage was unbreakable. Suddenly, people began revisiting every public statement Hugh had ever made about Deborra-Lee, wondering whether the truth behind the scenes had been very different for much longer than anyone realized. What made Deborra-Lee's eventual response so powerful was the fact that she stayed silent for almost 2 years after the separation announcement. During that time, she avoided dramatic interviews, refused to publicly attack Hugh, and allowed the media speculation to continue without adding her own voice. That silence became significant because it suggested restraint, patience, and emotional control. But the reports about Hugh and Sutton Foster appearing increasingly serious eventually pushed her to speak. Entertainment outlets claimed Hugh had proposed during a vacation in Costa Rica and was already discussing wedding plans with close friends before Sutton Foster's divorce from Ted Griffin had fully concluded. Reports also stated that Hugh had no intention of signing a prenuptial agreement despite possessing a fortune estimated at nearly $400 million. For many people close to Deborra-Lee, that detail felt especially painful because much of that fortune had been during the years she spent supporting Hugh's career, raising their children, and helping create the stable family life that allowed his fame to grow worldwide. When sources close to Deborra-Lee described her feelings about Hugh and Sutton's public appearances together, they reportedly used the phrase, "a real kick." The wording was simple but emotionally devastating because it sounded less like anger and more like exhaustion from someone processing deep disappointment. Around the same period, Deborra-Lee quietly secured sole ownership of the Manhattan penthouse she once shared with Hugh, purchasing the property in her own name just days before officially filing for divorce. That move suggested preparation rather than it showed that she likely understood the marriage was ending long before the public learned. When she finally released an official statement, she used one word that immediately captured attention: betrayal. She described the separation as a traumatic journey and referred to betrayal as a profound wound that cuts deeply. After remaining careful and restrained for so long, her decision to use that word publicly carried enormous weight because it reflected years of emotion compressed into a single statement. To fully understand why the ending of this marriage affected so many, it is important to remember who Deborra-Lee Furness was before Hugh Jackman became internationally. She was already a respected actress with an established career in Australia long before Hugh entered the industry. She studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and earned recognition for her performances in both television and in 1988. She won Best Actress from the Australian Film Critics Circle for her role in the film. By the time she starred in the television series Corelli in 1990, she was already considered a serious. Hugh Jackman, meanwhile, was a young actor fresh out of drama school appearing in his first professional acting. During filming, Hugh quickly fell in love with her. Deborra-Lee, however, initially resisted the relationship because she worried about their 13-year gap and the public judgment that would inevitably follow them. Despite her concerns, Hugh insisted that their connection mattered more than public. He reportedly told her the age difference was important and convinced her that he genuinely wanted a lifelong future. After only a few months of dating, he proposed, and they married in Melbourne in April 1996. At the time, Deborra-Lee was 40 years old while Hugh was 20. Throughout the following decades, She stood beside him as his fame exploded worldwide through the X-Men films, Broadway performances, and major Hollywood. Yet public commentary often focused unfairly on her appearance and age compared to his growing status as one of the world's most attractive movies. Despite enduring constant criticism and tabloid speculation, she remained supportive. Hugh consistently responded by publicly praising her as the fashion life. On anniversaries, he posted emotional tributes describing their love as deep, natural, and enduring. Those repeated declarations became part of their public identity, which is why the collapse of the marriage later felt so shocking to many. The turning point in the story appears connected to the Broadway revival of The Man, which began rehearsals in early 20. Hugh starred opposite Sutter, an acclaimed Broadway performer with multiple Tony Awards and a highly respected reputation within theater circles. The production lasted nearly a year, requiring nightly performances, rehearsals, interviews, and extensive time. According to multiple reports, people involved with the production began noticing a particularly close connection between and Sutton. Sutton herself spoke warmly in interviews about the personal routines they developed, describing how they spent time together before performances, talking and emoting. At the time, those comments seemed. Later, however, they gained a different meaning once rumors about their relationship intensified. Sources close to Deborra-Lee reportedly believed an emotional affair developed during the period, regardless of whether the relationship had become physical while the marriage was still. For someone married nearly 30 years, emotional distance itself can feel like betrayal even before anything. The timeline surrounding 2023 made the situation even more difficult for many observers to ignore. In April of that year, Hugh publicly celebrated another wedding anniversary with Deborra-Lee through affectionate social media. In May, the couple attended the Met Gala together, appearing united in front of cameras exactly they had years. Then, only 4 months later, they released a careful statement, announcing their separation after nearly 3 decades. The statement described the change as part of their personal journey and avoided assigning blame to a person. To the public, the wording sounded calm, respectful, but in hindsight, many people began reading it differently once Hugh and Sutton's relationship. Deborra-Lee largely stayed silent during this period. When she attended a film event in 2024 and was asked what she had learned from this year, she simply replied that she had learned she was resilient. The answer's understated, but it revealed someone enduring an emotionally painful transition while trying to make. Meanwhile, Sutton Foster filed for divorce from her husband Ted Griffin in late 2024, and by early 2025 she and Hugh Jackman were photographed together publicly in Los Angeles.